This episode of Mechanics Minute will fix a squeaky door on this 2011 Sierra. In late 2007, with the new body style trucks, GM went back to a roller style detent for the doors. Over time, these can be froze up and cause clunks or squeaks. To fix the door, we're going to have to replace the lower hinge that contains the detent. Start by removing the trim along the bottom, the fuse panel cover, and the kick panel cover. Locate the wire coming out of the door through the body. Follow it up to the electrical center inside the door. Pull the retaining clips, locate the connector, and remove it. Fish it back through so that it's completely free. Next, we're going to release the grommet pass-through. There's a clip on the top and the bottom. Just use a small screwdriver and then pull the harness out of the body. There's two bolts holding the door to the lower hinge. Remove those. On the upper hinge, there is one bolt from the bottom. Remove that bolt as well. Leave the hinge bolted to the door. Grab a helper and lift the door off the upper hinge. Set the door off to the side, being careful to protect its finish. With the door removed, remove the bolt from the lower hinge into the front fender. I like to put a piece of tape on the body to protect the paint while we work here. Now we will remove the three bolts holding the hinge to the body. Right below it. I'm putting some tape on the body before I remove the last bolt. I'm aligning it with the inside of the hinge and the top of the hinge to help give us a reference point when we install the new hinge to save on some adjustment. We've got the hinge removed and you can see the detent roller. Over time, this thing just quits spinning, even with proper grease. The replacement piece is a factory. They do come unpainted, but they are protected with a zinc coating. If you wanted, you could take it to a local body shop and have it painted to match the truck. The installation is just a reverse of the removal. To install the hinge, start the bolts back in. We installed the tape on the body to try and give us a reference of where to align the hinge. In our case, we put the tape so it would line up with the top edge of the hinge and also the inside edge of the hinge. I'll hold the hinge in place and tighten the bolts. The door may require some final adjustment, but this should get us close. Then the bolt into the fender. The hinge ships in the door closed position. We need to get it to the open position to install the door. Just putting a screwdriver in the hole and roll it over. Before installing the door, apply a little bit of grease where the pivot is for the upper hinge. Again, with your helper, carry the door over, being careful against the fender. Set it on the pin on the upper hinge and then kind of wiggle it down until it sets. You can now feed the wiring back through the body shown. Reinstall both lower bolts into the door. Now that we've got the door rehung, don't just slam it. Carefully close the door. Make sure that it's going to shut. There is probably some alignment to be done. Push the door shut carefully. Check your door gaps. Down here, the door is sticking out just a little bit past the fender. To make the adjustment, loosen our two bolts into the door, and then we'll pull the bottom of the door in. Snug up the bolts, and let's recheck it. Again, carefully close the door, and then let's recheck our gap. Now we have a nice smooth gap. I'm tightening the bolts back up. All the bolts get torqued to 18 foot-pounds. We've got the wiring through the body. Now we route it back up, and we can reinstall the trim panels.